Set. 4, 3, 1.
Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome to the Sunday Morning Quarterback. Today, we are 5 pastors who love ministry, leadership, and sports. The fisherman has returned. Adam, how you feeling today?
Yes. You know, they call it fishing and not catching, right? I've not been catching many fish.
Yeah. You're struggling, kind of like John and his Carolina Tar Heels.
Oh, yes.
Oh, yeah.
Yes.
App
State,
yeah.
baby.
The Mountaineers got Adam over here with Liberty University. We know what's up.
Oh, man.
Y'all are sulking is what you're doing, bro.
All I know is,
We
man,
ain't talking about them Hurricanes.
hey, I walked outside this morning, and it felt nice, like 65, and then I walked out of the coffee shop about an hour ago, and it's freezing cold. Dad, is it raining there yet?
Yeah, it's raining. Yesterday I was sweating. Today I'm shivering. So that's how it is in my neck of the woods. There's not much fall, and it goes right to the wintertime. But it's all good.
Paul's
Joe,
Paul's got his sweater on. Go ahead, Paul.
Oh, yeah. No, I was just going to say, Joe, let me say, I'm just going to point something out. You have been consistent with your one-liners for the last couple of weeks, bro. I just want to say I hear them and I appreciate them, even with your little alliterations like I was sweating yesterday, but brother, today I'm shivering. Like that's good, bro. I just want to point that out.
He practices those.
Hey, we're almost 50 pods in. He's starting to figure this thing out.
Oh, man.
That's funny. Hey, let's jump into football. We'll start NFL reactions yesterday. Adam, what stuck out to you as a wild day of parody in the NFL? Let's talk through some of the games. What'd you see?
Yeah, it was kind of a weird day. There were several upsets, but I don't want to focus on those because it is the middle of the season. You know, people are injured. I'm going to celebrate today because my Panthers won their first game. Celebrate because it might be the only game they win all year. And here's why I'm happy about that. If I could have picked, if I know that we're going to only win one game this entire season, I would have picked yesterday. Because as I've shared on the podcast, my biggest fear, as worrisome as Bryce and our whole organization has been looking, is that CJ Stroud is way better than he is. And we've kind of been thinking that could be true, but he outplayed CJ yesterday. Still think CJ is a very good quarterback, but it's just good to get a win. It's just good to see the team celebrate. They were running around the field like they had just won the Super Bowl. So go Panthers. Secondly is Will Levis over there in Music City. Boy, he took that opportunity that he had. And sadly, my boy Malik Willis, it looks like he just wasn't put in a great situation. And when he finally got his chance, it just didn't work out. So Levis looks incredible. Never know with a rookie playing their first game, but I love parity. I'd love to see the Titans have a real good quarterback for once.
Yeah.
Dad, what do you have to say about Adam feeling good about him and John's Panthers?
I'm excited for you. You know, I'm here with you. It's the only week that's probably going to happen. So, you know, I'm with you. Now you know how we feel most of the time. Just want to say that.
That's funny. Dad, what stuck out to you yesterday?
Oh, you know what I'm going to say? Not the Dallas Cowboys because I expected that. My Cincinnati Bengals. They are back again. And I got some flack from some of the guys. Oh, what about the Bengals? Just like, hey, just relax. Bro's going to get it back. Cincinnati's going to, and they are strong. They beat, you know, a good, strong Niners team in San Fran. They needed a win. They did not get a win. And they put a beat down on them. And so that's what stuck out to me is watch out. Here comes the Bengals again.
The 49ers have dropped 2 in a row. And 3 in a row. Sorry, 3 in a row. And they play Jacksonville next week. But we'll talk about that in a minute. John, what were you watching yesterday? What'd you see?
So shockingly, I was watching the Jets because the Jets are 4-3. They're 4-3. Everybody should be shocked. We're also watching Aaron Rodgers throw warm-up passes on something that got inserted in his leg. Can't be healthy. Can't be non-mechanical. He's out there bombing passes, and just a few days ago, it seemed like he could barely walk off the field. So, you know, the Jets season might not be over. He could be back this year, which is crazy to think. And so I'm excited for him, though, man. They've had a tough go. I wanted to see them be successful, be competitive, and I think there's still some hope. If they can limp on in, right? If they can get to that point where they're 5-5, 6-5, I think Rodgers maybe pop back in and all of a sudden make a run.
You know, he's probably did some experimental surgery out of the country. They're like, we'll test this on you because he knows if he can make a comeback, you know what would be bad if he pulled a Kevin Durant and tried to come back early and then like retore it again. But they say the stuff in there, like you can't, that they put in his Achilles. So I don't know. But the shock of the day, literally, I didn't get to watch football because I was at trick or treat all day. But the shock of the day was the Chiefs losing to the Broncos. Nobody saw that coming.
No.
I mean, 2 picks by Mahomes. Russ, dare I say, had a good day. But, you know, those interdivisional rivalry games, they just something's different about them. So that was an interesting one, Paul. Your Dolphins looked good yesterday against the Patriots. So let's skip ahead to next week, and then we'll do college on the back end. A few games that I'm looking at next week, just to tell you the games of the week. Okay, we got Dolphins and the Chiefs. Paul, how you think your Dolphins are going to be against the Chiefs coming off an embarrassing loss?
Well, I'll tell you this. There are things that I think needed to be reset with the Chiefs that I wish would have happened in Frankfurt rather than this past Sunday. I'm excited about the Dolphins. I really am. I just don't like the fact that we're playing in London. I don't like the fact that it's going to happen at 9:30 in the morning. I don't, this isn't anything that I'm really looking forward to having to like stay in tension basically throughout the entire morning, wondering if the Dolphins actually pulled it off, but that's all right. I will get past that and it'll be okay. But I mean, like Adam, there's cause to celebrate with a lot of momentum going in. After 22 years, the Dolphins are 6-2. And on top of that, bro, Tyreek Hill, there's no question right now whether or not this dude can put up yards. He has over 1,000 yards currently in this season. The guy's having an incredible season. To put it into perspective as well, like that's our leading yards guy. Kelsey has 568 or something like that. Just to give you the comparison of production between these two guys, it's just awesome. So here's the thing. Because I'm a Dolphins fan, I've got the Dolphins winning over Kansas City. I'm hesitant because I wish whatever happened with them, with the Broncos, I wish would have happened in Frankfurt, but we'll see.
Yeah, there's some weird analytics about 2 teams that have to fly, and that's a whole lot of stuff.
I don't like it, bro.
A lot of weird factors. Go ahead, Adam.
I was going to say, Mahomes was sick yesterday. I don't know if you saw that, but when I first saw the box score, I was like, what in the world happened? But then I saw that he was sick and actually wasn't.
So was Jordan,
play.
Though, you know. So.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I'm just saying, you know, I wouldn't panic if I were any of these teams if you lose this year, except for one team, and we'll talk about them.
John, next week we got Bills Bengals. How do you see that one shaking out? That's a big one. The Bills.
I'm not going
Bengals.
there. I gotta get straight to these Eagles.
Oh, go for it. Jump in.
I think they're gonna hit I think they're gonna hit Dak in the mouth. You're gonna see multiple turnovers from Dak Prescott this game. I'm just going to call it now. Their defense is stout. They're playing well. He's going to turn the ball multiple times. I would say 3 turnovers, at least 1 fumble and 2 interceptions. And one of them will be in the red zone. One of them will be in the red zone.
Wow, dude, this
Mark
is a horrid game.
We'll keep these receipts. And we'll come back to this right now.
He said receipts.
Let me see where this game's at, first of all. Okay.
I don't know why y'all are acting so surprised. Like, John's not saying anything.
No.
Like,
I'm not acting surprised. I'm not saying we're better than Eagles. Dad, you want to retort
I would love. I was waiting for my chance. I just want to say that I think someone's former team, the Washington Commanders, who have a quarterback that probably should be a third stringer. No, he's okay. He's okay, but he shouldn't be throwing 400 yards against Philly. 400 yards, and they also had 31 points. Second game in a row that he had a big game. So Philly's back end is not really good right now. Dallas is coming on. We had that week. We prepared. I think we've cleaned some things up. I'm predicting Dallas is going to smack them in the mouth, and we're coming with a victory. We are winning.
Where's this game?
Burgers.
It's in Philly.
It's in
the only
Philly.
hope
Good
is-
luck.
The only hope is
Good
we're
luck,
just not
bro.
in December yet. Okay, that's the only hope we can.
You're
live
right
on.
about that. You're right about that.
Adam, how you think the game will play out?
Yeah, I was gonna camp out on this game too. My second favorite team because how much they hate Dallas. You know, Jalen Hurts.
Y'all heard that, right? Second favorite team. I'm just gonna point that out.
I can't. Yeah, I get
You
confused.
can't
week
keep
by
up.
week.
Last year was the Broncos. This year is the Eagles.
So Joe, literally 3 minutes ago, you said my Cincinnati Bengals.
Hey,
You're right.
I've been on record for about 3 years now. I don't change week to week.
I don't cheer for the Eagles because they're good. I cheer for them because they hate the Cowboys. And I
Oh,
All right. So anyway,
All right, what were we gonna say?
once you're done with your nonsense here, I think it'll be a close game. I think Dallas has good reason to feel good about what they did yesterday. And Philly, they've had a few close calls. They're still head and shoulders above the rest of the NFL record-wise, but I think it'll be a close game. But ultimately, it'll be a late interception by one Dakota Rain Prescott that once again will seal the fate and remind Cowboy Nation, you're not even the best team in your division.
All right, I'll give a little truth serum. I'm actually going to ride with the Eagles so that if we win, I'm pleasantly surprised. But if we win, it's going to be because of Micah Parsons, because the Eagles offense, Jalen's looking a little bit banged up. And
He's got a bad knee. He's got a bad knee.
Now, we will say, though, yesterday, I could care less about the Rams game. We've already said Dallas has to beat good teams. So we're going to have our shot. We're going to have Buffalo coming up. We got Miami coming up. We got Philly twice. We got some good teams coming down the pike. So I want to see how Dak does in these moments. But I'll say this. I don't think we're going to get blown out like we did against the Niners because we do better in divisional games. So we'll see. I think we'll split 1-1 with Philly this year. We always do. And so there's a thing where in our division, the division winner's been different like 9 years in a row. So now that John's second team, 49ers, have lost 3 in a row, it's opened up the door here. So if we can sneak out a win, but we'll see. I wouldn't be shocked if the Eagles won. Hey, somebody want to preview Bills?
Hey, I just want to say something, Joseph. What? I've got hair on my chest.
Whoa!
I'm calling it, not like somebody. I'm a little sad right now. I'm calling it. Cowboys winning in Philadelphia next Sunday.
All right. All right.
Mark it down.
And so I got hair on my chest.
All right.
Are you going on a cruise again next week, Joe?
I'm coming to do a
celebration. You're going to be
celebrating. You can't say that to me, Adam. You can't say that to me. Or you know what? I'm fishing. I can't, guys. I can't. I will be here to collect my roses.
Hey, Adam always goes fishing, though, when his teams win and Paul's teams lose. So he's storing up his
Hey, whoa. I had a soccer game. I had my daughter's soccer game that I had to go to. I had a legitimate thing that I needed to do.
Oh, goodness. All right.
And plus, I wore my North Carolina colors. So what?
He did. He did.
And there's video evidence.
He wore him in the pulpit. Hey, Adam, let's skip over to you real quick. College, what caught your eye? What are you looking toward?
This might be the first and the only time I ever mentioned this team on this podcast, but the Kansas Jayhawks, they are really, really on the uptick, which that sounds so weird to say, but the last 2 years, they've got this coach, and he loves that university. He has given and I know how this goes, but I really do think he wants to be there and stay there. But they had a really good year last year. I think it was one of their best years in like 20 years. And then on Saturday, they beat Oklahoma. And Oklahoma at the time, they were undefeated. So Oklahoma was not who they were last year. They were who they have been the last 15 years. And that was just so big for them. And I love parity in sports, and I just like to see that. So I was happy to see that they beat Oklahoma, and they were at home when they did it. And I got to give a shout out to all of my Hokies out there. Virginia Tech, they're not having a great year, but we knew that they're going to have a few years rebuilding with a new coach and all that. And they've won a few games, and they did on Saturday pretty handedly. So about 70% of my church are Hokies, so I can't help but keep up with them. So
Mm.
glad to see them doing well.
Nice. John?
Well, if there's any fact that, Georgia Tech beat us again, seems like perennial. Every year we're just coming back to it, getting beat by
Georgia Tech.
junky Georgia Tech. At least when Megatron was there, they had somebody that at least there's somebody game changing. The only positive in that is also watch Duke lay an egg out there. And so pretty happy about that. But honestly, I think you're starting to see a little bit of the separation. I think the top teams are starting to really rise. Georgia's rising. I think they played a great game against Florida. You're going to start to see FSU looks like they're ascending. And we're really down to, I think, kind of narrowing in the next 2 weeks. I think you're going to get the top four pretty quickly. And then aside from the championship games, I think you're going to be pretty settled in. So it's a good time in the ACC.
Dad, following with what John said, as the college has been wide open this year. Got a few teams out west that are a little bit more serious. Got a few teams in the SEC struggling. Dad, what are you seeing? Who are some of the top teams that have a legit shot? Shout out Florida State. They're keeping it going. Can they keep? What are you thinking?
This is going to be. I like Oregon, and I know they just lost to Washington, and Washington. I shared about a month and a half ago, keep your eyes on Washington. But when I watched that Washington-Oregon game, I thought Oregon outplayed them. And I've been watching Oregon. They've got a good coach. They've got, a pretty good defense. And I think they're getting better and better and better. So I'm keeping my eyes on Oregon. So because if they can get in the playoffs, and I know it's going to be tough because they got that one loss, but it's Washington. So if they can play each other again in the conference finals, and win and get in, I think they can make some noise. I think this could be the time that the Pac-12 can do something. So I'm watching Oregon, and also for the UACC guys, I'm watching Louisville. They're a good team. They beat a very good Duke team and shut them out, like John said. So Louisville's, I've got my eyes on them. I'm kind of interesting to see how they do as they progress and play some better teams.
Paul, how do you think your Hurricanes are going to finish out the season? Think they can make it to the ACC championship?
No,
just kidding.
I don't yeah. And I'll tell you, look, this is exactly what I was just thinking about is, this is at this point of the year where you look back and you realize mistakes are costly. They are costly, because I'll tell you, they would be in a different place right now if they would have won that game in Miami against Georgia Tech, because now look how things have unfolded, right? It's just I knew that was one of those games that I'm like, it will set the tone for the rest of this season. And so what's going to happen? I think best case scenario, the next loss that they'll have will be against Florida State because it'll be in Tallahassee and they're going to get stomped. I mean, bad. And then they'll end up with a 9-3 season, ideally, if everything else goes the way it's supposed to go, which will be good, but it should have been a 10-2 season, in my opinion.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot about that second loss. But it'll be interesting watching the rest of the remainder. A lot of parity in college and
I have a question.
NFL.
Question. World Series. Who's going to win the World Series?
Oh, good take.
Who's watching the World Series?
Me, Adam.
I watched the 10th inning of Game 1.
I can't.
That was a great game. Texas came back. I think the Diamondbacks. I'm wanting the Rangers to win. There's something special going on with the Diamondbacks. They got a lot of young studs, and they got some great situational pitching. And so I think Texas, they got a good offense. Their bullpen's not all that great. So I'm wanting Texas Rangers because unbeknownst to many, they have never won the World Series. But I think there's something special going on with the Diamondbacks.
Adam?
I don't know. It's kind of a toss-up. I'm not going to act like I know these teams real well. I do just like that it's not the typical run-of-the-mill teams. But I think I've told you guys, but I went to high school with Kyle Seager. Kyle Seager played for the Mariners for 10 years. He and I played basketball together a few times, but his little brother, Corey Seager, is obviously playing for the Rangers. And, so I'm cheering for them, but he smacked a homer to tie the game, I think in the 9th in Game 1.
He's great. He's great.
Like, as much as people may say baseball isn't the most popular sport and that kind of stuff, to me, there's nothing like the World Series and playoff baseball and just the the atmosphere and kind of the noise of that arena when a ball is whammed out of the park,
Yeah.
man. It's
Hey,
just,
did you see that when Seager hit that ball? That place erupted. I agree with you. Come
Right.
playoff time, my mother-in-law is a huge, huge baseball fan within the playoffs. And so we've been watching it together, really our whole family. So it's been a lot of fun. But you're right. I kind of keep my eyes on it. But once the playoff comes, it's a lot of fun.
Yep, I'm secretly pulling for Texas Rangers because their stadium is right across the street from AT&T Stadium, so that might be the closest thing that area gets to a championship in the near future. But anyway, I'm convinced we're just cursed until we put Jimmy Johnson in the Ring of Honor. But anyway, we'll continue. Let's jump to our
Hey,
ministry.
maybe right.
Yeah, let's jump to our ministry and leadership segment. We've had a lot of good guests on, but it's just good to kind of all of us get on and talk together. And so during this time, it can be organic, but let's just kind of go around and talk about maybe what we're preaching on or what's something the Lord is showing you personally or just doing in your life or your church or your family in this season. And we just kind of organically flow with it. Adam, you want to start us off?
Yeah, sure. I'm in this kind of different season as far as my preaching goes. I'm normally walk straight through a book and sometimes really kind of drag it out for all that we can. But over the last 5 months, I've been doing different series and a lot of, I don't like saying topical, but expositopical, I think we've said before, right?
Topogetical.
Topogetical, that's what it is. But for the last 5 sermons I've preached, it's been in Luke 15. And I've really just enjoyed the heart of God to seek and save lost sinners. And I spent 4 weeks just on the prodigal son, looking at each of the 3 main characters in there, and then even got a little creative with one and said, what would we think the prodigal son who returned home, his life looked like after he had come back home? And so what we did is I just looked at what are the marks of a faithful person that has been forgiven and shown grace, and had a lot of fun preaching that sermon because it's in some ways unique. But man, that passage, it's one of those, maybe of all of the teachings of Jesus that everyone for the most part has some knowledge of. And even with that, it is just so deep and profound. So Luke 15, yeah.
That's good, Paul.
So we've been going through the book of Exodus, man. We were really excited to head back towards the Old Testament. And so we were planning on doing about 15 or 16 sermons up until Advent, and then we'll take a pause and then do part 2 of Exodus at the beginning of the year. I think like mid-January is when we'll probably pick it back up. But it's been cool, man. We've had a couple detours in between it as well. We did a detour, like, per Adam, a topogetical or theme, a thematic one that we're doing. And we've put in 3 through the book of Exodus, one of them being lamenting, the other one being worship, that we're going to be covering in chapter 15, as the people of God have now finally crossed the Red Sea, and they're singing before the Lord, and a cry of praise and victory of what he's done. And then later next year, we'll do one on Sabbath and helping us understand what that is, all the while tracing what we think is that main thread in Exodus, which is God rescuing people to worship him. So it's been really fun. I've enjoyed it. It's been really, really good to kind of get back to the Old Testament, and especially Exodus. Like, there are so many salvation motifs, Exodus motifs all throughout the Bible that you can trace. But then beyond that, like, there are so many wonderful things that you can point to in the future, whether it be through Moses or whether it be through the acts of deliverance that you can point to Jesus, that it's just been softballs after softballs to just show God's deliverance in Jesus in the future. So it's been really, really fun, but that's what we've been up to.
Cool, John.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying it's Pastor Appreciation Month. We're at the end of it. I just want to thank you guys. I'm appreciative of each of you guys, the teaching, mentorship, things that you invest in my life. I just want to start off there. I hope that your church is able to celebrate the honor and the privilege of being able to serve with you guys. And so, in addition to that, what I've seen really helpful for us is we've been walking through Acts for most of the year, and right now we're in a series called Ministry in Hard Places, as we get to Lystra and Derbe and all the places where Paul begins to journey throughout hard ministry tasks where he's going to be stoned, he's going to be shipwrecked, he's just going to be in a tough spot. And I think for some of the people in our congregation, it's just a reminder that even when we do the right thing, right, even when we're obedient, we can't just assume that everything's going to be, oh yeah, it's going to work out great, everything's going to be easy, it's going to be, and sometimes when you see Paul faithful to share the gospel are the same times where he's crowned almost as a god, and then on top of that he comes back through and he has the chance to get stoned right after that, right? Like he rushes out like, guys, don't do this, don't worship me, I'm just a guy. And then the Jews come and they drag him outside and they stone him, and you're just like, Lord, like the difficulty here in this walking in obedience does not always determine ease or comfort on the backside. And the question we all have to ask, I think, as we walk through this is, are we still going to do ministry even in the hard places? And I hope it's just a good time, and looking forward to what the Lord will do through our time together. And in addition to that, in our church, what I've been able to really witness is membership classes and all those things. I see the Lord starting to draw in people with no church background, just come into faith or came to faith in our congregation. And that it brings me a lot of joy, because I know we're not just taking people from down the street, which we don't. We say, hey, you should go back to your church and serve there. But it's good to see the Lord drawing in people that are excited, passionate, that have a joy in their salvation, that's starting to give life to our other congregants as they've been faithful in the Lord for the last 30 or 40 years. It's a good season to see life change happen.
That's good. Dad?
Like John, we too have been going through the book of Acts most of the year. We have a lot of new folks at our church, and so it was a good time to go back and to understand, who is the church and what is our responsibilities and privileges that we have within the church. But I am actually going to pivot and pause for a moment. We're about halfway through Acts, and I think I'm going to go through spiritual disciplines, but with the framework of not just, okay, read your Bible, pray, confession, fasting, but with the framework of understanding that this world's on fire right now. And there's a lot of people that are shaken in our world and our community, even within the church. And so it's with the framework of praying in regards to everything that's going on, the fracturing, the division, racial division, things that are being taught in school, and understanding who you are in Christ, and that everything in this world can be shaken. But, according to Romans 12 or Hebrews 12, even though this world can be shaken, we are connected to the unshakable kingdom. And so we have to be rock solid in that. And so the goal is to go deeper in the understanding of prayer and to go deeper into scripture. So with everything going on, so many questions and the culture wars trying to invade the church, that we are prepared to answer these tough questions, not only from culture to the church, but even in our own minds. If we're not rock solid in not just our faith, but our biblical foundation, we can begin to question. So, with the influx of folks at our church, I want to make sure that we've got some real strong foundations. And for those that have good foundation, we can continue to grow deeper. And then I think that's going to catapult us into, I think I'm going to start a series in Revelation at the beginning of the year. I have really got my eyes on what's going on Israel.
Hey, let's segue to that for a minute, because one of the things we won't go too wild with it, but one of the things we love about the pod is just being able to talk about current events and issues going on. And I don't know about you guys, but I've seen and noticed a lot of people diving in some of the minor prophets of the Old Testament books that normally they don't spend a lot of time in, reading up on some of these things. So let's just kind of talk about what's catching your eye. What's the, obviously none of us can prognosticate, but maybe let's talk about why it's important for Christians to support Israel, how we should support it. What are we seeing maybe from a biblical standpoint? Dad, you can go. John, you can go after that. We just kind of pass it around.
Well, I'll just say that right now I'm keeping my eyes on, we're praying for Israel, but I'm also watching to see what happens in the next few months. Without going too deep, we know some things that are going to occur to point the way. Now, we know that, we could be gone at a moment's notice, but we also know some things. We know that right during the beginning of tribulation, that there's going to be peace with Israel. They're going to take their guards down. We know that 3.5 years, at the beginning of the Great Tribulation, that the Antichrist is going to sit at the temple. Well, there's no temple right now. It's owned and occupied right now by the Muslims. So I also know that they can build a temple within 3 years. So I think that's going to be started at the beginning of tribulation. But so there's some things in place that I think if there's I'm going a little deep here, but if there is a battle, and Iran kind of gets hit a little bit, and the European Union helps in this fight, that's going to be very interesting because things are really lining up. And I won't go in too deep, but I think every pastor should be keeping their eyes on some things. But yeah, that's kind of what I'm watching. Some things are getting really close, and so this is a time to be very excited for the church.
Yeah, because people are asking, and especially as Israel's at the centerpiece of the text, and so we've got to answer their questions and use this as an opportunity. Some of them to get them in the Word. John.
Real quick, the last time all eyes have been on Israel like this was in 1948 and 49 when they became a state. Once again, way 2,000 years ago. So this is the first time in all those years. So when those things happen, you pay attention.
John, go ahead.
Yeah, I'd like to kind of capture that idea that people are asking questions, and what I've tried to do is, because I don't know the times or the seasons, none of us do, right? So we're in a hopeful anticipation, but we're also a chance to go, do you want to answer about Israel right now so that you can link it to something in Revelation, or do you want to be reminded that Revelation is a revelation of Jesus Christ? And so do your questions about Israel, are they driving you to Jesus Christ? Because if they're not, then they're just politicized ideas that you just want to have some answers and cling to something and hope for a future. But if it's not, I'm looking forward to Christ's return. Lord, come, right? If that's not the condition of our heart, and these things don't cause us to go, I need to better prepare myself for the coming of the Lord. I don't need to be slumbering. I don't need to be drunken. I need to be sober. I need to be alert. I need to be mindful. And so I think some of this is a good opportunity to remind our people that, hey, whether this is an event that leads to the end times, or whether it's drawn out to a greater completion later on, it should remind us of Jesus Christ. And it should quicken our heart for his return. It should quicken our pace for obedience and faithfulness and love and evangelism and discipleship until the day draw near.
That's good. That's good word, John. Adam?
I don't have really much to add to that. I thought Joe was going to get a chart out, but
get his camp notes out.
I don't mean, I'm not trying to avoid it. I agree with what the other men have said, but I want to mention something, and I've never done this, I don't think, in a public way, but the new Speaker of the House here in America, I'm very, very happy about, because typically when a politician makes some kind of religious claim or, appeals to their religious upbringing, most people have learned, okay, you're being a politician, and I'm not discrediting the faith of many who actually have been believers, but this guy, the new speaker, he is of a different stripe, it seems like, because he really seems to know and believe what the Bible says, and he's very upfront that the Bible informs his worldview entirely. But here's the difference with him from most that we've ever seen. He knows how to explain and articulate what that means for the many issues we have going on in society, and he does it with what Russell Moore coined the term convictional kindness. Extremely intelligent, extremely well-versed in all of the issues, and is able to explain it, but does it in a way that is not overly aggressive, doesn't come off as, being prideful or arrogant about it. So I would just encourage anybody watching or listening, be in prayer for that man, because obviously the enemy doesn't like those who speak the truth. And obviously, because of where he is now, he'll be under attack if he's not already. So let's pray for him and thank the Lord that he has inserted a man who believes very much in him.
That's good. Paul, you want to finish this discussion up?
Yeah, I would say two things, because a lot of what these guys have mentioned, right and true, and I'm there. I would say two things. One, I think as Christians, as we look at what's happening in Israel, we have a call to be convictional about what we believe. And what I mean by that is we've got to be able to see what happened and be able to call it for what it is. And it's evil. What Hamas did to Israel is nothing short of evil. And if we can't get to a place where we can be principled that way and convictional about things, we're going to be really going uphill. I mean, it's not going to be very helpful when it comes to helping make sense of what's happening in this world. We have a Bible to lean on, and we have truth to help us understand how we can make sense of what took place. So for one, we're called to be convictional when we see those things. And then secondly, to John's point, I think we're called to pray. We're called to pray for them. We're called to pray for the Lord to come and come quickly, because you could tell all of the groaning pains that are happening already in this world, and it's tough to watch. It hurts to watch, and honestly, the only thing that's going to make any sort of actual tangible change is a kingdom that will never be overthrown, a king that will always sit on the throne, and a hope that we can have secure to know that is going to last forever and ever and ever, precisely because that king is going to eradicate all sin, evil, and bring justice to this world. And so I think that's where we need to be at as we look at all these things, because we could go like real deep into, the times and the hour and everything, which, all of us, I think would agree. We know that Jesus is coming back. When he's coming back, that's a great question that I don't know we can precisely answer. But for the time being, I think we can be convictional, and we can be a people who are called to prayer.
That's good. What a way to end. Let's end there. Don't get caught up in the politics. Get caught up on following the Lord. Hope y'all have a great day, Dad. Next week, you're gonna gloat, or you're gonna eat some crow. So we'll see.
I'm calling it. Cowboys. Calling it.
All right, see you later.